Welcome to FFO Studio. My guest for today is Ishita Sharma. Ishita is a corporate lawyer who specializes in data privacy and compliance. Ishita, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Angad.
It's great to have you here. Why don't you start by telling people about yourself?
Okay. So I'm the co-founder of Fathom Legal Advocates and Corporate Consultants. Did my law graduation, BLLB honors from National Law University, Visakhapatnam. Went on to Harvard University to study IPR. Right. Came back, started my firm.
What's IPR? Like, there are a lot of people that don't.
Okay. Basic question. So IPR is like intellectual property rights.
Okay.
Every person may own it.
Right.
Right. Especially the entrepreneurs who are creating products, devices, services, right? Yeah. It can start from your logo to your brand image to a new concept or a design that you're creating, right? A new technology that you're creating. Everything is protected by the IPR. That's the intellectual property laws. Yeah. Now, these laws expand from the state, in what state you're practicing them, to the national or international boundaries, wherever you want to extend them.
Got it.
So the IPR is extremely essential as it makes a part of your asset, a long time asset. Okay. It can be something that you can pass on to generations.
Right.
So this is one kind of wealth that entrepreneurs know about it and like to invest into it.
Right. But there's still an end to it, right? Like 100 years or something. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Yes. Okay. Yes, there is definitely an end to it.
So 2 generations at max you can pass it on.
Depends on what kind of IPR it is.
Okay.
Not for all of them.
All right. Well, what are the different kinds?
So when you talk about patents, right? Once you've used it for a max period, it has to come out to the public domain because the information has to be used at large for the larger good of the public. That's the intention and the idea behind the law.
Okay.
But when it comes to trademarks, right, you can own them.
Okay.
And you can keep passing them on.
Got it.
So when you sell it, it becomes the other person's.
Got it. So how have you seen this landscape evolve? Because like I think in the last 30 or 40 years, right, there has been so much disruption in this space about about the boundaries that they've all been blurred now. How have you seen the evolution come to be?
With respect to the IPRs, firstly, people did not have much knowledge. Right. Slowly and steadily, we're seeing the culture of startups coming up, people investing in their ideas, right? Market promoting new ideas,
right?
And especially I would call it the advent of COVID, where people were left idle, and they got their, all the time and energy to focus on what they've been wanting to do for long, right? So a lot has been invested in the IPR state. And good thing about our law in our country is it does protect you.
Okay.
Unlike other country. So when you file for your trademark or your copyright, right, and you can sleep peacefully that if somebody copies it the next day, you can shoot them a notice, right, and you will get the protection.
Got it.
Unlike in other countries where people can go on for a long battle, that's not the case here.
Okay.
Here it is shortened and the laws genuinely protect you, plus the fees is not very high.
Yes.
The government is making it affordable for all of us so that they can promote. So earlier, this case was not such. First of all, there was not much awareness. Right. And now the landscape has evolved so much that things are happening cross-border. And as and when you want to expand, right, you need to first protect your assets.
Right.
Because you're in a threat of being, stolen, your brand image being stolen, your logo being stolen. So these are like basics of any business to get started.
Right.
So now people are aware and they are practicing it at length.
Got it. What's the difference between a trademark and a copyright?
So a trademark is for logos,
okay,
and brand image. Copyright is for the written work. So various form of works have various forms of protection.
Okay.
Written work, as in writing, poetry,
got it,
prose.
So that can be copyrighted.
Yeah. But and your logos and
graphics
that has to be trademarked. And if there's any design, then there'll be a design mark. There are multiple categories. The whole pool is huge.
Okay.
The signatures can be signature marked.
Oh.
Your patent technology can be patented. How you're creating this mic, that can be patented.
Right.
So the pool is vast.
Let's say someone takes a picture, right? And then they get a copyright over that picture. I take the same subject and take a similar looking picture. Am I infringing on that person's copyright? No.
No, you're similar. It's not same. It has to be same. Depends on a lot of things, Angad.
Okay, all right.
It depends on a lot. I can't explain it to you that way. I'll have to see the picture, make the differences.
Yeah.
So a lot. the color, the design, the font, the size.
So it has to, yeah.
Is it deceiving? The intent of the law is it deceiving? By the way that I look at it and I see, oh, this is the one that Angad clicked. Is it that one?
Right.
If it is exactly similar, then no, you might not get it. But if there is even an iota of difference that people can spot it out, then you will get it. So there are various categories, classes under trademarks and copyrights.
Okay, can you share some anecdotes or some stories around these?
Oh, okay. Okay. So one of my clients, won't mention their name. They are restaurant owners, okay, in Delhi.
Okay.
Very famous restaurant, famous for their biryani. So it was so much so that people used to queue outside their restaurants every evening. And they were into some social service also. So at the end of the night, when whatever food was left, there was another queue for the.
Right.
Now that with time, it became so famous that there were at least 6 other restaurants in the same name, same board, same brand name, same logo, just around that restaurant only.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was, hampering a lot of business of my client.
True. Yeah.
Okay. So he actually got perturbed because they were actually creating their own masalas, and that was their USP, and people used to travel long. So as soon as they enter that area, the first restaurant that they see with a similar name, they enter that. So that was obviously it actually hampers your business.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't know. Like if I just go over there with a name in my mind, and if the location is around that, like you go to Lucknow, you go to Tunde Kababi, right? And you will find 20 of them. And then you come back with a feedback, oh, it's overhyped. It wasn't good. You actually are never able to reach the right place. Right.
Okay. So we did shoot 5 legal notice. And we were successful shutting down 4 of them.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I told you. It works because the impact of the law is such that if you fail to do so, we would charge you. We'll charge you back legally, and that would cost you heavily. Got it. Okay, let's shift focus to tech. To what? Yeah, from food to tech. All right. So when it comes to say, so most of our partners tend to be SaaS B2B companies, right? What are some essentials that they should take care of if they are going public with any of their ideas? Their ideas? Yeah. Let's say they've got like they've built their own SaaS platform, right? It's their own intellectual property. How do they go about, like what are the steps that they should take in order to ensure that it does not get misused or copied? Ideas cannot be protected. Okay, what if it's just like a fully functioning platform? It's a software, like then you can protect elements of it. Okay. You can protect elements of it, and you can if at all it gets copied, okay, right, you will have the first movers advantage. Yeah. Okay, that's protected under law. You will have the first movers advantage, and then you need to show with your paperwork that you've done. Okay, this was my logo, this was my brand name, this is how I moved in, this is where we moved in first, we pitched them first. Yeah. And on this day we created our platform, on this day we booked our domain. So in total, you have to explain that how this was your idea first, how you moved ahead with it first. So document everything. Yes, document everything from the scratch. That's why we say that lawyers are extremely important, but techies don't understand. Yeah. Right. So document, trademark, copyright. Keep documenting everything. Keep taking licenses. Okay. Right. Small expenses, but are going to benefit you heavily in the long run. Of course. But ideas cannot be protected. Please keep this in mind. So don't just talk about it openly. Even I attend a lot of networking event, and then people just, they're coming out and telling their ideas in toto. I'm like, what are you doing? I can go and copy it. You won't be able to do anything. Right. So this is my idea. Will you be able to help me? I said, I will help myself first. Like, oh my God. Okay. How do you? So should we not talk about ideas? You should not explain the nitty-gritties, okay? Not the nitty-gritty. People say it's not very easy to copy someone's idea, okay? Because the actual step-by-step plan is in their head. Right. Everything is too advanced and fast-moving. Of course, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And people are not slow these days. Yeah. They know how to catch up. Okay. True. So when you have given broad strokes or broad layouts, okay, I think some certain patches can be filled in by reading a bit more. Okay. So if I tell you something about today and it interests you, you might go ahead and fill in the blanks, or maybe talk to the industry experts and go ahead, partner with someone and just do it. So I just tell people not to give a lot of information as to what you're doing unless you're protected and out there. Makes sense. Okay, so let's say I'm starting up today, right? I've got an idea and I'm starting to build it too. I want to be compliant from day zero.
What all things should I take care of?
So if a new business owner comes to us, to our firm, so the first step that we take is to recommend the kind of entity that they would require to be created. Okay. So
what are the different kinds?
I'll tell you. So there are multiple kind of entities. I was exactly coming to that. Okay. Depending upon the capital that you're willing to invest and the scalability of that you are seeking since inception. So it's like an OPC, one person company, LLP, limited liability partnership, plain simple partnership, okay, private limited entities, okay, and a proprietorship, of course, which is similar to OPC. Now, these are the kind of entities that you can create depending upon the business size that you're looking for. Now, we suggest private limited entities only to those who are first of all determined, experienced, who have at least capital enough to take care of the government compliances, Ministry of Corporate Affairs compliances, regulatory compliances, secretarial compliances, accounting compliances, right? Okay. So that is also cost intensive. I mean, you need a company secretary, a lawyer, and a CA handy. Right. So you should have at least that much in your coffers. Okay. Right? So any which ways, a private limited entity is the best entity to form if you're doing some serious business.
That's also the most expensive.
Most expensive one and has the most acceptance in the market.
Of course, yes.
It develops most trust for investors and people. Right. But if you are a consultant or a service provider, you need not form a private limited entity, not required. If you're in a product-based industry, private limited would be good for you. If you're seeking to raise funds, private limited would be the best for you. Okay. But if you know service-based industries like lawyers, CS, we usually form partnerships or proprietorships or firms. Because it is going to be a close-knit setup.
Of course, yeah.
Mostly. Okay. So that is one form. Then there's proprietorship, wherein you're the sole proprietorship of the entity and you are mostly a solopreneur. Not a solopreneur. You are mostly a person who's running it independently without any collaborations of other co-founders. So for a private limited, minimum 2 directors are necessary. It can go up to 200. Okay. But for a partnership, minimum 2, go up to 20 plus. But for a proprietorship or a one-person company, if you're a single entity, you can choose these 2 sectors. So this is the first compliance. Okay. Right. Next, we ask them for their logo, brand name, right? And the third thing, we ask them to protect them under the IPR laws, right? The trademarks, the brand marks being protected. Then they get a domain, create their own personal IDs, and hence on and henceforth. These are the basic standards that they set up to get started. What else do we do? Oh, yes. Then we talk about the internal framework of the company. Okay. Setting up their hiring, firing regulations, right? Making their with the kind of the product that they deal with, whether they are taking in user data or not, making sure that they're GDPR compliant now with the data protection bill, making sure that they're data protection compliant, making policies for them, right? Privacy policies, cookie policies, and things like that. So that's the entire starter kit that we have, that we serve as lawyers to startups to make sure that they are covered from scratch, from start till the end. So there's a lot to it.
All right. So which of those responsibilities are covered by lawyers and which ones are covered by chartered accountants and CSs?
So accountings with respect to your... so the CS files some GST bills. Okay. That's what they're filing every third month. Even the accountants can do. So a lot of responsibilities are overlapping. Right. So you might not see a lawyer in a company, but you will definitely see a CA.
Of course.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So CAs, they happen to venture into all of them things, and only when there is a dispute, they would like to call a lawyer. Right. But that's not a case. CA is highly unlikely to give you the right guidance for incorporating your company. Okay. So that's what lawyers do. They get your companies incorporated. Corporate lawyers, not dispute.
Got it. Yeah.
Not the dispute resolution lawyers. Okay. So we are a team of CA, CS, and lawyers. So we are like a complete package. Try to provide one-stop solution. Okay. But a lot of roles are overlapping. So the accounting part is done by the CAs, okay, where they take care of the books, they take care of the entries. Okay, we have one accountant, not necessarily a CA in these companies who will take care on their software, what are the entries coming in and going out.
Yeah.
Right. Then the CA takes care of the ministerial filings like AGT4, MGT7. These are certain forms that needs to be filed with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs.
Okay.
6 monthly, biannually, things like that.
So if I'm starting up, all of this should be taken care of.
Yeah, if you're forming a private limited.
Okay, let's say I'm forming a private limited in India, but I also have plans of selling it in other countries, selling my product in other countries or services. For example, the US. What are some more things that I should be careful about?
So that would be export of service.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, mostly people, you either do it through some medium,
Like
some freelancing portal, depending if you're what, a lot depends upon the size of your company.
okay.
Okay. So then there is a person in between, a portal in between who takes care of the compliances like Upwork or freelancer, right?
Right.
If you're doing it on your independent level, you might need an import-export code sometimes, IEC code.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, I was stuck in a similar situation.
Okay.
Myself.
Yeah.
So I was looking into it, and in that case also there is no great difference. You just have to take care of that you are compliant with the IEC format, the import and export format, and then with respect to the funds that are concerned, how you are taking them in, and that you should be able to establish the routes from where they are coming and what it is for. So your paperwork, again, your paper trail has to be very clear.
Got it. Got it.
But there should be a purchase order, because since now you have an EIC, okay, import export code, there should be a purchase order from your client. Maybe that he's raising a request for a a purchase order, that he wants this kind of a service, or this kind of product from your entity.
Got it.
Okay, and then you do a proper delivery, right? And then he raises an invoice.
Yeah.
There has to be complete paper trail so that it's back, because remittance is heavily monitored by the government of India.
Yes.
Inward and outward both. So whenever you're dealing with international jurisdictions, you have to be really careful on that part. So again, it depends upon what volumes you're doing. Okay. How frequently you're doing. If it is a one-time transaction or three-time transaction, it's an everyday transaction. So that's where we come up with a legal expertise and legal advisory on day-to-day basis.
Got it. And like you said, if you're doing it through a platform like, say, Upwork,
then that's not an issue. They take care of everything. They have their detailed policies set. They make sure both the parties sign it, and they make sure that both the parties are compliant, and they take their cut, and they pay both the parties, and make sure that the delivery is done on time.
Got it. So O44 does the exact same thing for cybersecurity service providers. We are a platform that can take care of it end to end. You don't really need to worry about you not being compliant when selling your services in external markets. All right. So again, even in India, things have shuffled up a bit, right? Since the launch of the DPDP bill, right? So how has that changed things?
Okay, so people are praising DPDP. I mean, I believe that it is divided into two sets. Okay. In the legal industry, I don't know about others, but within the legal industry and the legal luminaries, it is divided into two sets. But before, entering into this discussion, I would like to explain what are the stakeholders involved.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Right? Who are the stakeholders who actually get affected by this law? Right? And what would be their responsibilities? Right. So first of all, the first stakeholder under this bill that has been defined are data principals. Okay. So who are data principals? Data principals are those people who are actually giving their information. With consent. Me. Okay. Yeah. Right. So anybody can be a data principal, whoever is logging in their information, right? Yeah. On their websites or wherever in the bank using credit cards, right? Then the second stakeholder is the data fiduciary. Okay. That's a term given to the person who is collecting the data. Got it. So in case here, O404 might be a data fiduciary, right? Because you might be processing a lot of data from one place to another, and then using it for specific purposes. Right. So now the third stakeholder is data processors. So the data fiduciary collects the data, but outsources it or gives it to the third party to process it in the XYZ manner. Right. So that stakeholder has been called data processor. Okay. Now the entire ecosystem is managed by consent managers. Okay. They are the fourth stakeholder. Okay. And consent managers, are they who are they appointed by? By the board. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now, if anything goes wrong in this entire cycle, each party is responsible to file a complaint to the data protection board. Now, data protection board is a board that has been constituted under the law, the data protection law. Yeah. Okay. Now, these are the 4-5 stakeholders Now, understand earlier under the Information Technology Act 2000 or the 2008, there was no such responsibilities enumerated on each of them. Firstly, there was no classification.
Right.
So in India, there is one big problem. There is no consolidated law to protect cybersecurity. We are very divided.
Okay.
Be it now in the form of IT laws, that is separate. Now, each section is performing separately. Now we have DPDP, and we have CRTIN.
Certain. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Right. That is again another board. So there is no such consolidated law now. Like right now, they are trying to consolidate the criminal laws. Like 2 years ago, they consolidated all the labor laws. India had 18 labor laws.
Wow.
18 labor laws, right? So they consolidated it. It's difficult to implement,
of course,
with a lot of diversity. Right. So this is an evolving structure, right? The cybersecurity space is evolving. The technology is evolving with passing time, correct? So accordingly, the law is evolving. The problem with the government sector is they do not have industry experts to recommend them.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So while this law was being developed, we had foreign influence. I'll give the resource also, that person who had done the comparative study across the globe about the cybersecurity laws and the data protection laws. Okay. And he was on one of the board members while the DPDP Act was being framed.
Correct.
Okay. So we, as within the nation, we lack experts. We are still evolving.
Yeah.
Right. So due to the lack of consolidation, there is no set format or set prescription, though they are trying to do it, but there's still a lot of evolution left. So under this framework, for the first time ever, the responsibilities have been assigned to each stakeholder.
Okay.
Which is one great development. Right.
Yeah.
So the data principals, okay, the ones who are giving the data have the responsibility to provide the correct data. Okay. They cannot falsificate the data. They cannot impersonate somebody else.
Right.
Or somebody who is not in the capacity to, write on their behalf.
Yeah.
Okay. Girls like me who are young, they are hesitant to give their entire information.
Of course.
They have a threat of being stalked.
Yeah.
Right. In that case, it is your responsibility. How do you want to take it ahead? Do you trust the system or not? Or refrain from it in totality?
Yes.
Is what the law prescribes. Okay. So in case there is a falsification of data from your end, there is a penalty of rupees 10,000.
Okay.
Right. Now let's talk about data fiduciaries. If they are lacking to protect the sensitive information of children and they have defaulted, the penalty extends to 200 crores.
Oh my God.
Right. Like that's revolutionary. That's what they've done. Something revolutionary. Moving ahead, the penalty also goes on to 250 crores to data processors if the information has been leaked intentionally.
Okay.
For the purpose of making wrongful gains.
Right.
Right. So the penalty further extends to 250 CRs.
Okay.
So that's the entire.
If it's unintentional.
Intentional, unintentional, for the purpose of wrongful gain, wrongful loss, whichever purpose, it was your responsibility to keep it sorted, compliant, recorded, marked. There are certain checks and parameters, right? How you have to keep your data, store your data, move your data.
Yeah.
So if you have the data, you have to be responsible for it.
What if you get hacked?
Even in that case, why did you not take the precautions?
Oh my God. Yeah. Makes sense.
So if your systems are so vulnerable, you better not keep it with you.
Of course.
And there is a limitation also as to how long you can keep the data. As and when the work is done, you have to delete it.
Oh, okay.
You cannot keep it in your system forever.
Okay.
Okay. Until and unless the legal requirement exists, you keep it with you. Further, if it doesn't exist, you have to remove it. But the law has surprisingly created some exceptions.
Like?
The government entities are exempted from all of this.
That's convenient. Okay.
That was good enough, right?
Yeah.
But they went on to say that certain data fiduciaries, which can be either private companies or startups, dealing with volumes of data, I'm quoting the act. What volume? High volume or low volume has not been categorized. Can also be exempted.
That's a backdoor.
Okay. not get into that. So yeah, the government has made certain conveniences for itself, like it does in every other law, and the lawyers are not very appreciative about it. Okay, so this is just one kind of loophole that I have been able to pick up. And there will be many. The act is exhaustive. Okay. So what we understand from how it works is that a lot of recommendations. So first time it was almost passed, but then there was a joint committee proposed, joint commission, and then a second round of revision went. That okay, the law that has been tabled in the parliament has to go for another round of revision. So it went back. I think it was back in 2018 or 2019.
Okay, right? That long. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. So actually, I think it's been starting. We started the situation since 2005 Puttaswamy judgment, wherein the Aadhaar card issue was out, that the personal information of everybody is getting leaked, and that the personal information is connected to a right to privacy, fundamental rights of every individual, and that how it is getting impacted directly. That's where it started. Okay. And so it has been developing since then. Okay. So it has been a long journey. And 2019 again, when they thought that it has been finally drafted and curated, again a joint committee proposal was suggested, and it went for a further recommendation revamping, and then they have come up with this finally. And 2023 August, this law has been passed. Yeah. But I think furthermore, with lawyers getting into it, doing some more brainstorming, reading the laws across the globe, understanding the differences, and actually feeling the loopholes. Okay, when the backdoor channels will be used and optimized as per the requirements, right, and you'll feel the difference, and then again you will see an amendment to this very soon. Okay. Right. So since the passing of the law, what are some of the most common challenges that you've seen companies facing? So a new company, startups, ecosystem, they don't understand. Firstly, the law is full of jargons. Yeah, of course. Yes. It is full of jargons, legal jargons. Yeah. Right. Lawyers themselves are having trouble to understand, okay, what is a data fiduciary? Even I was like, okay, I need to understand. Though the definition clarifies it, but even the definition is full of jargons. Okay. So by which I want to say that this needs a formal training. Yes. This needs a formal training in application and implementation. By way of a formal training, a formal channel, the government has just created a law. It has not created any portals or systems for assistance, right, for implementation. And then you are saying that you will impose this huge penalty for non-performance. Right. But what are you doing to make them compliant? Right. So in the broader structure, how this entity functions, how the nation functions, we have executive, legislative, and the judiciary, right? One who makes the law, one who implements the law, and one who takes care if the law is broken. Okay. Right. Yeah. Those are the three structures of the democracy. Based on that, when you create a law, where is the implementing body? You have created a redressal body. Yeah. Right? You have created a body to impose fines. Yeah. But where is the body that is implementing it? Yeah. What are the channels? What are the government helplines for implementation? So government these days is running heavily on taxes, right? And they're creating huge penalties, trying to extract more and more, because yes, there is a lot of money in the market, though hidden. Okay. Yeah. So they are just creating channels. So yes, startups and companies in the tech sector will face and are facing problem of implementation of these regulations, right? How to keep it protected, how to move the data, what to do, what not to do, which compliance applies to us. Yeah. What do I do to take care of children's data? Right. Oh, I've got this much of data. Yeah. How do I use it? Yeah. Right. Can I do this or not do this? So who will give them this understanding? So at Fathom Legal, we help you understand these queries. Okay. So for anything related to such, please feel free to reach us out. Absolutely. Please reach out to them. So there are certain entities, legal entities themselves, who are, providing training twice a month just to make you compliant with these laws. Oh. Yeah, they're literally feeding in the brains of the employees how you can move your data, how you can store your data, how to segregate your data, how to mark your data. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we are also developing a model to. So, do you how important is training employees in this regard? It is very important because the employer-employee relationship is a fiduciary relationship. Okay. So anything which an employee does, You save it in their system locally, or you give them the access, complete control. They take it out and sell it outside.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Now you are a opposite data fiduciary, for example. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And somebody does this in your organization, the liabilities will be on the owners.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And you can't keep running around and chasing people.
Yes.
So the overall impact is huge. No matter wherever you have reached, how far you've reached, how honestly you've worked, the system is going to collapse for you.
Right.
Right. So impact is huge. And when there is a breach, okay, I don't know if you've read that recently Domino's had a data breach.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's very popular.
180 million.
180 million. Yeah.
Then again, Air India, 4.5 million.
Yeah.
It affects people at multiple levels. So there is this entire segment of injuries defined under the Act.
They're called injuries.
Injury or damages.
Okay. Okay.
So then there's mental damage, mental injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reputational damage.
Yeah.
Financial loss.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes emotional loss.
Of course. Yeah.
So all of this has to be compensated. It can go to any extent. So if you are able to understand the depth of it, the intensity of it, it would be huge. And if you're not able to understand, then nothing like it.
Makes sense.
You can leave it as it is wherever you are.
But still, the thing is, get professional help.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to do it yourself, go ahead. But if you get stuck, then eventually you will need professional help. And why not before?
Okay. So what are some things that companies can proactively do, right? So in order to not be affected by it.
So first step for companies to do is, read the law. Okay.
Or get a lawyer.
No.
Okay.
Second thing is train your employees.
Right.
Training is essential because, these, you have, suppose let's understand you're a BPO. Okay. You have thousands of people working.
Right.
And the kind of employees with the kind of qualification those people have, they would definitely not be able to understand the responsibility. So sensitization is important.
Yes.
Impact assessment is important. And once you do that, the explanation to them is important. So it is your responsibility as an organization to sensitize the people that, anybody's health information, anybody's financial information, or anybody's relationship status, what impact could it create? Okay, for you, it might not be something of benefit.
Right.
But if it gets leaked, you don't know in what many ways people can use their creativity to get it to their use.
Absolutely. Hackers do that all the time. Yeah.
And they are running a good business out of it. Right? So sensitization is very important. So first step that they can do is training and sensitization. Okay. Second is, after the training and sensitization, use that training to optimize and safeguard your systems and processes in the manner. Not segregation, marking it, flagging it. How do you move the data? What servers you use? Yeah. Right? How do you move them internationally? Right. Even that has been laid down under the law, if at all it is needed. So all that has to be taken care while running your business. Okay.
So let's get back into that moving data internationally part. What are the steps to correctly do it?
So the government in the Act, the Act has not laid down any steps or procedure.
Okay.
It has just said that there is no prohibition on it.
There is no prohibition on it.
There is no. So they made it abundantly clear that there is no prohibition on it. You can move the data out, but again, whatever steps that are required locally are to be implemented at the international level also.
Okay. But how do they enforce it internationally? They don't have
then we have again no. Okay. we have public international law, private international law taking care of our cross-border jurisdictions. Everything is is covered. That's not a problem.
Okay. Interesting.
So if at all you breach internationally also.
Yeah. I don't want to, for the record.
Not you. Yeah. If at all anybody breaches, okay. Yeah. You will have those liabilities and penalties to pay. If you pay that, then you will be covered under the penal laws. We catch hold of you somewhere or the other. Yeah. We catch hold of anyone who breaches that somewhere or the other. Yeah.
Are there any predictions or anything that you see coming in addition to this in the future related to privacy or compliance?
A lot has to be developed.
Okay.
Nothing on AI or Web3. The space is dark.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And then it took, so 2022 was all about Web3. Yeah. Everywhere you go, we are into Web3, blockchain.
I saw generative AI.
Yeah. Now you all about AI, ML, AI, ML. I will integrate AI into this, AI into that.
Right.
People don't even understand what it is. So many of them.
Yeah.
But those who are techies, they have gone way ahead. Right. Of course, the legislature is not able to catch up.
Right.
We are still working on cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Right? It should have been done 20 years ago.
Absolutely, yeah.
Laptops were there since when? Since when people are using credit cards? Yeah. Since when hospitals are using data and selling it left, right, and center? Right. A lot is yet to come. Right? So we need more and more industry experts, more and more legal luminaries actually into the profession who can understand and give generous suggestions to the government on the development of jurisprudence on this issue.
Got it.
What exactly would be the jurisdiction? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, sure. Interesting that you brought up AI now. Like coming back to copyrights, right? There are a lot of cases of AI being used to generate content. Like okay, let me give you an example. There's a very popular singer, right? And that singer's whole flow, lyrics and music has been replicated by AI. The singer had nothing to do with it. Whose intellectual property is that?
The law is not developed, jurisdiction is not developed. Okay, you say that AI has done the breach.
Okay, yeah, huh.
AI has done the breach.
What in that case, yeah?
Who takes the liability, right?
Right.
Who takes the liability? You can't go back to the owner and said, oh, he developed the software.
Right.
Even in the self-driven cars, this was the case. It's a very old case, okay? If the self-driven cars goes on the road and,
there's an accident.
There's an accident.
Yeah.
Who takes the liability?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of, these are all grey sectors.
Yeah.
These are all grey sectors where the jurisdiction is not defined and you might not be able to seek any remedy out of such cases so far.
Correct.
So the people who are getting hampered by such technologies, it is something which is yet to be highlighted and, worked around on it legally.
Okay.
Not much developed on this space. Right. I mean, you will keep on doing litigation. Court will, on the blanket surface, will penalize the person who created the software.
Yeah.
Impose some penalty and that's it. But that's not the rationale behind it because you cannot stop the technology from evolving.
Right. You can't. Yeah.
You can't do that. Okay, and it is required. It is helping us also.
Yeah.
It is aiding us also. So again, there are certain parameters that have to be created, certain checks and balances that have to be created. Okay, you can do this, you cannot do this. Right. You can venture into this space, you cannot venture into this space. Yeah. This is good for the society, this is bad for the society. So recently I saw a case wherein you've heard of scams, wherein people, ask money, okay, I'm in trouble, can you send me 5K?
Yeah, of course.
So this guy was... he was taken aback, like, why is she asking me money suddenly?
Yeah.
So he said, I will only give you the money. She was a very good friend, a close friend. So he said, I'll only give you the money if you come on video call. I want to see you.
Oh, okay. I see where this is going. Okay. Yeah.
And she said, yeah, sure. And she did the video call and she was exactly that similar person. And that was an AI. And he agreed and he transferred around 70K.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was the first case.
Yeah.
Which went public. It went viral. So how do you stop? These scams are going multifold. And I would say that the entire scam industry, these people, the Jamtara event, it's all because of data leak only.
Yeah, of course.
What else? Yeah. And they have become such a big industry.
Yeah.
Untampered, uncached.
Yeah.
And you're not able to catch hold of them. So data privacy laws are extremely, extremely important. But there's a long way to go.
Got it.
For India to catch up.
In my own personal capacity, what can I do? Or what can anyone do to increase... to be more private, to be more safeguarded about my own properties, my assets?
Firstly, while you're downloading apps, let's start with phone.
Okay.
Since it has become a part of our bodies now. Right. We don't move around without it.
Yeah.
While you're downloading apps, do not just randomly give consent, agree.
Yeah, but who can read all of that?
You don't need to read all, but you need to understand. Suppose you are downloading an app.
Yeah.
Suppose, and won't name the app again. An app which helps you commute from one place to another. Okay.
It rhymes with Ruber. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Okay. So that app doesn't need access to your gallery.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just use that basic sense and deny that access.
Yes.
That app doesn't need access to your directory, phone directory, right? Doesn't need access to a lot of other apps, your banking apps, etc. So you have to just be conscious enough and be a little patient of what you're dealing with, because you're dealing with technology which is ahead of you.
Right.
So that is one word of caution. Don't just randomly press consent, because while you're signing the bank forms, in the loan documents, you are ready to read that small text, but why don't you understand that this one device has your entire life stored into it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so it is as important and as precious as any of your other financial issues or transactions or liabilities. So don't just randomly go on to pressing these consent buttons.
Deny everything non-essential.
Deny everything, and just agree to only that thing which barely makes your app workable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like for Swiggy, I have stopped everything. Okay, I only give tracking permission only when I place an order. Right. Allow tracking only for one time. Yeah. You can do that also for particular. So again, technology is evolving for your favor also and for the favor on the other side. You need to know how do you use it particularly. Again, and then again when you're doing banking transactions on your laptop, right? Try to use the virtual keyboard. Yeah. We always ignore that. Right. We always ignore that. Right. So that it's there for a particular purpose. Yes. You might not know what malware or what ransomware is there in your system. Yeah. Especially when you're using it on a public system or on somebody else's system. Right. Use the virtual keyboard. Yes. That is one suggestion. Yeah. That's it. That's all I have to give you so far.
Just be careful, be intelligent. Do not accept anything that you don't understand.
Yeah, don't the idea, okay, technology, you can trust it. I can understand we can trust the technology, but not to the extent that it infringes us and takes important things of us away. Right. So just be sensible, just be conscious, just be alert of what you're dealing with, and I think you should be good to go. So you don't see everybody getting scammed. Why are old people getting scammed?
Because they're the most vulnerable. Yeah.
Vulnerable. Lack of know-how. Right. Housewives getting scammed. Right. Kids getting scammed. Right. Lack of know. They don't know. They don't use their prudence. They don't use their judgment.
Gullible.
Yeah. Too gullible. Yeah. You and I, difficult to get scammed. Okay. Right. Yeah. We have a good time with the scammers. Okay. Yeah. Tell me more.
I enjoy those conversations very much.
So recently I listed an ad on Ola.
Okay.
And immediately within 30 seconds I get a call, like a message. This is sold. You immediately put it out from the app. I was like, okay. I was like, wow, this app is amazing. Yeah. So this was my first interaction with, not Ola, it was OLX. Yeah. It was my first interaction with OLX. I was like, is this so cool? Yeah. Then he says, give me your number. I gave him my number. Yeah. Then he calls me immediately. I was like, okay. He's like, madam, you put it off the listing. I was like, I've just put it on the list. Yeah. He's like, no, I'm sending you the money. I was like, okay, send me the money. He says, is this the WhatsApp number? I said, yes. So he sends me a QR code. He sends me a QR code on which 1 rupee is written. He says, I've sent you 1 rupee just to check if it's going. Yeah. You do one thing, you scan this QR. I was like, yeah. Okay, I got to know.
Tell me where you are, I'll give it to you in cash.
Oh my God. So I had some really good time exploring OLX and the kind of people I met there.
Yeah.
So all of that again. So OLX also, I do not give. It's full of scammers. That particular app is full of scammers. So you have to be very careful. So I think the image is tarnished. Right. Still, I ventured into it and tried exploring, but I did get my deal. Okay. Got the purpose. Purpose was served. Yeah. So yeah, you just have to be wise enough on how you're going to use your things. So these tools will be ever evolving, right? But you need to know how to use it, when to use it, and when to stop. Right. Understand the red flags. Yeah. Be a little vigilant. That's it.
The perfect way to end the podcast, I think. It was lovely having you here. How do people reach out to you? How do they get in touch with Fathom or Ishita?
Yeah, so Fathom Legal, we are based out of Delhi and Bangalore. And you can reach out to us at support, SUPPORT, @fathomlegal.com. And I will ask Angad to put on my further details.
It'll all be there in the description. All the links are right there.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Likewise.